All right, so maybe you started your own virtual talk show or podcast or just online talk show. And the first episode went okay, but there were some issues. There was some audio stuttering, some guests dropped out. There were some awkward pauses. What can you do? How can you fix it? How can you make your shows better? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 5 different ways you can improve your virtual talk shows. All right, this is the thing that I've had to learn is painfully important time and time again, which is proper pre-production. This is doing things like creating a run of shows, researching your guests, finding time for rehearsals, tech rehearsals, making sure the internet connection is good, the quality is good, helping the guests troubleshoot things if they're having problems, helping the host troubleshoot things if they're having problems, having talking points, know what people are going to say, know people's cues, doing just a quick run through, and especially having the host and guests talk with each other for a bit to get familiar, get comfortable with each other. Every little thing you can do before the show will help the show overall when it's actually live. So the next thing is understanding the video conferencing or VoIP software that you're going to be using. So of course there's things like Zoom and Discord, and they all have their pluses and minuses, but I think you only want to stick with these if you have a really technically challenged guest, like they only know how to join a Zoom call, or because of security issues, they can only join via, Microsoft Teams. That's fine, work with it. Make sure to learn things like how to get high quality audio and disable things like noise reduction, which can affect the audio. But if you're able to, I really recommend learning VDO.Ninja. We actually did a tutorial on it. You can learn how to use the basics here. But this is really the most customizable video conferencing software that's meant for production and get you the highest quality possible results, especially if you have the right internet connections for it. All right, so the next thing is a lot of times maybe your host or guest will have challenges working remotely, like there'll be a really loud fan in the background or just a really messy background in general. So the great thing is the XSplit suite of products actually gives you all the tools to handle this. So first there's VCam. So VCam allows you to do background removal or replacement, so you can change it. It's basically a virtual green screen. And if you don't even have a good webcam, you can use your phone, and your phone can be used as a camera, and it's pretty high quality. Then you put this in XSplit Broadcaster. What XSplit Broadcaster offers is like if you have a guest that wants to show some slides or presentations, you can add these as a source and then use a virtual camera into the video conferencing software. But also, like I said, if there's really noisy background, you set your microphone in XSplit Broadcaster and then you use the audio DSP effect. So of course, if they have an NVIDIA GPU, there's NVIDIA's amazing noise removal. XSplit also has built-in noise removal. You can tweak things, you can add VSTs. And the cool thing is that you can use the virtual microphone in XSplit in the calling software. So you get all these crazy cool effects. So you get really high quality video and audio using the XSplit suite of products. All right, so there's some people that you could just listen to endlessly and they can talk and talk and talk, and it's just really engaging to listen to. But some people have problems, or they might run out of things to say and there's a really long awkward pause. So that's why it's really good to create segments or to write out the questions that you're gonna ask in advance and basically give time periods you're gonna ask these things or talk about them. So it's really good for the host to see, to be like, okay, we're gonna talk about this for 5 minutes. All right, it's getting a little dry, a little stale, let's move on to the next thing. Basically give them like a guiding practice of what they need to go to and points they need to hit. It'll really help. Now, of course, if you want to have that free form conversation and see where it goes, by all means, but you'll see a lot of sports shows do this. They give only a few minutes for each topic and keep the show moving along, keep it moving fast. And it keeps both, the talent engaged and also the listener engaged. All right, so it would be great if the podcast and conversation in and of itself was the main draw and the excitement, but we live in the world of hot takes and drama. So when you're developing your shows, you need to think of things in post, basically how you're gonna post your content on social media. Now, of course, you'll put the whole episode and everything, but you wanna create certain segments or sections, and this ties in with what I said before, that are gonna get something exciting and want something that the audience is gonna wanna talk about or tune into. So, a really spicy question or a really strong opinion, put that in so you can then chop that out, post on socials and be like, if you want to see the whole conversation, see the video. So always think about posts, always think about exciting things or things that, you want to ask your guests or you want your host to talk about to draw the audience in. All right, and that wraps up our tips for producing virtual talk shows, online talk shows, podcasts. But if you have any tips for yourself, maybe you produce your own or some handy tips, let us know in the comments. If you have any questions, ask us in the comments. Thanks again for watching and hope to catch you again for the next video.